even know who you are. I don't care if you know who I am. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah. If you're gonna keep poking at me and pushing at me, yeah, I'll tell you.
There's just so much. You feel like I'm obsessed with you. I'm single white female. Do you tell people I'm obsessed with you?
There was some weird that went on way back in the day.
Okay, so
by going and have my old hair extensions put in your head.
I didn't know about that.
Because you told me. Yes, it's weird.
Oh, Jen. You did put Tamara's old extensions in your head. Girl, you nasty. What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel where I do recaps of every Housewives, every city, every episode, every week. So get in, all right? Today I'm here to recap The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 19, Episode 4. But before we do that, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please do not hesitate to leave a comment. This episode, we start off right where we left off at, where Shannon just finished giving Katie the business, letting her know the door is closed, we can never be friends again, I don't trust you, and she stormed off in a huff, and Miss Katie was like, she left her grilled cheese sandwich. So now, that done de-escalated. The flames went out. Shannon is over there to the other girls, venting, saying how she can't believe Katie is over there trying to like justify her actions. And Katie is talking to Jen and Gretchen, and they're basically like, all of this is going on because of Tamara bringing it up. Tamara basically is the cause of all of this. So now we see Katie and Matt about to leave. She wants to leave. Heather and the other ladies, they're doing a cheers to some pigs in a blanket. Wait, pigs in a blanket? I haven't had a pig in a blanket since I was a kid. Let me get a couple of those, okay? So Heather sees that Katie is leaving, so she stops her to ask her, like, you know, what's up, you good? And Katie is like, you know, I tried to apologize to her, but she ain't trying to hear it. So, you know, I'm just leaving. And Heather was like, you know, this isn't the right time to talk about it. Maybe give us some time. Y'all can talk later. So Katie goes and grabs her husband Matt, and they hit it. So after they leave, right, you hear Gretchen asking, like, is Tamara here? And Jen is like, no, Tamara ain't here. But lo and behold, who they know is Miss Judge is on her way to the event. And she's bringing Miss Jo Della Rosa, OG from season 1, okay? Jo, for those of you who don't know, Jo was one of the OGs on the very first season of the very first episode. She was on the first 2 seasons, and she was Slade's girlfriend. Her and Slade were in a relationship, and by the end of season 2, they broke up, and she left the show. And after she left the show, Slade went on to have relationships with quite a few other Orange County women, and ended up with Gretchen. So Tamara's being shady because she's trying to get at Gretchen by bringing Slade's ex to the party. So they're talking, and she's basically saying how she's glad Joe came with her because it was a hard no for Eddie. They do a little prayer, and basically when they get there now, they actually bump into Katie and Matt in the parking lot outside because Katie and Matt are leaving as they're arriving. And Tamara's like, hey, Katie, you leaving? And Katie's like, yeah. And she's like, what happened? Matt is like telling Katie, don't talk to her. So Tamara is following him. And Tamara's like, Katie, wait, what happened? Talk to me. So Katie is like, you know, me and Shannon got into it over that. And Matt is like, please, acting like you don't know, whatever. And Sam was like, what you mean? Matt was like, you started it. Cause Tamara came acting all like clueless, like, oh my gosh, what happened? I had an argument for real? Matt was like, oh, please. Like, you don't know. Like, you started it. And Tamara was like, wait, you said I started it? And Matt was like, yeah. So now Katie is telling her, like, you brought it up at my lunch. Like, why would you bring it up? You see, I was trying to make stuff right, and you gonna go drop this bomb right now? And Katie also, in her confessional, she felt like, why would Tamara wait? Like, if you really was concerned about Shannon being recorded, why did you wait until the next year to bring it up when we start filming? Why you didn't tell her this when it happened last year at the gallery? So now, anyway, Tamara is basically trying to say, oh, Katie, I've been nice to you and this and that. I've never did you wrong. And Katie is like, girl, last year you just called me a cunt. You called me a cunt last year. Like, I see you next Tuesday, honey. So they going back and forth, and Joe tells Tamara, oh, let's go. Come on inside, girl. Like, you know, we're not doing this. So they go inside, and as they get inside, the first one to notice them is Ryan. So he's like, oh, there's Tamara and Joe. So you see Gretchen's face. She looking like, because Ryan and Jen is standing there with Gretchen and Slade. Gretchen is looking like, and Slade is looking like, oh, boy. So now they come in, they do their little shot thing with the gong like everybody else do when they came into the party. So, you know, Tamara, she got this just look on her face. She's smiling like a Cheshire cat. She's just excited about this, about bringing Joe to the party with Gretchen and Slade. So Gretchen is like, she's thinking it. She's like, this is tactical. This is practical Tamara. This is how she moved. Like, this is just her, pretty much. So Emily and Gina are gagging. They like, oh my gosh, is that Joe she with? And they're like loving it. They got little mini popcorn that they got on deck at the party. So they grab their little popcorn, like, let's sit back and enjoy the show. So now they start going in on Gretchen. And Gina is like how Gretchen looks like a fake person. Emily says she looks like she dips herself in formaldehyde every night. And then Gina gonna say, yeah, she look like a Barbie IG filter from 2003, huh? Her friend is peeing over that. And I'm like, why is y'all coming for Gretchen like that? But no shade, ladies. Y'all not wrong. Yes, Gretchen, I love you, boo. You are gorge. But it is something fake looking about you. You do look like you have you always have on a filter. It's something, you know? That's why when you say you haven't had any work done, I'm like, you sure sis? Something is peculiar. So yeah, Terry is over there hot as a kite, honey. He's over there making dad jokes, telling Ryan how he's glad that his last name is not Italia, because then Jen's name would be Jen Italia. I'm like, Terry, if you don't get out of here with these corny jokes, you is stoned. So even Heather is like, oh my gosh, are you stoned or something? And he like, what do you think? It's a marijuana bar.
I was just helping congratulate them on the fact that his last name isn't Italia, Jen Italia. I have not been working on this.
Did you get stoned? Oh, you
Look,
got
there's a
stoned.
weed bar. What do you think? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Oh, shit. Where'd it go? Is it me or has he gained a little weight? I was hoping he was chubby.
So now Terry and Heather are talking with Jen and Gretchen about the situation with Tamara, and basically like asking them like, can an apology fix things? And Gretchen is like, no, there's just some things an apology cannot fix. So that's when Terry was like, well, you know, she's trying to change. What if she changed or whatever? And Jen is like, you know what? Like, I doubt that, but you know what? She didn't have grace for me when I was down, but now that she's going through something, I'm supposed to have grace for her. I'm going to have it for her because we're human, you know what I'm saying? So then that's when Heather brings up Teddy, like, you know, saying she's going through that with the Teddy situation. And they're like, cool, we get it. We going to give her some grace. But where was our grace, pretty much? So now we see everybody's partying, having a good time at this point. Gretchen does actually go to greet Joe, and she basically says, her and Joe is cool. Like, they don't have no issue, but she's saying Tamara, her tactics are just getting rusty at this point. Like, she did it to be shady, but it's not even no shade between them. So anyway, so Heather now is going to say a few words. She thanks everyone for coming to her party. She's like, I know I celebrate my party for way too long, but thank you all for allowing me to be silly. And they all applaud her, and they get the party and turning up. you see Heather, she's drinking champagne, taking a bottle to the head like a true G. I'm like, oh, Heather, I thought you was Miss Fancy Pants. I thought you was too classy for that, but you was taking that bottle to the head, and I was here for it, sister. I was here for it, Heather. Okay, Heather, maybe a little hipper than we thought, okay? And then we see Shannon, she's trying to dance. Terry is, you know the way, all off beat. Shit, she's looking crazy, but she said it. She said, you know, I never been one to drop it like it's hot, but you know, I'm never too old for me to try. All right, and hey, do your thing, boo. Shake your tail feather, okay? Give me some spanky leg or something. And then we see Gina. She's like, I'll say I know how to drop it lukewarm, but you know, I ain't trying to do too much because by the time I try to have to take an ass for when I get home. So that wraps up this party scene. So next up, we get a parallel scene, and this starts off with Gina and Travis. They're at one of their rental properties, and Gina lets us know that they've been killing it in real estate. Since they've been working together, they closed about 10 mil in business last year. So they decided to come together and form their own group. It's called the Gated Group. They're going to be selling homes in gated communities. I'm like, yes, Gina, congratulations. I'm happy for you. But girl, Gina, what is this outfit? Like, what is this frumpy looking dress and these shoes and this hair? Like, what is going on, sis? Like, not for nothing, Gina. For every time you film, for every 5 times you film, you're going to look good 1 out of those 5 times. And the other 4, you're going to look a straight up mess, girl. Gina, would you get a stylist now that you stepping it up, okay? Please. Thank you. All right? So next we go over to a place called Facial Health Parker. And this is like some type of dental place. We see Jen and Ryan. They're arriving and they're meeting with the dental assistant. She takes them in to see the dentist to let them know that they actually love the uppers that they got done. So now they're looking into getting their lowers done right before their wedding. So the doctor lets them know that they're gonna do some mock-ups to see how they like it or whatever the case may be, and you know, get a feel of how it's gonna look. So Jen lets us know that there is a OC MILF checklist. And I wrote it down. Wanna hear it? Like the hair goes, okay? So the OLC MILF playlist is 1, the boobs. 2, the tummy tuck. 3, the spray tan. The handbag, which Jen says she doesn't have. Then you gotta have the G-Wagon. And finally, the veneers. So she didn't say she didn't have the G-Wagon. So I'm like, Jen, you got a G-Wagon? Her husband, I think, does Jen have a G-Wagon? I don't know. I never seen her pull up in a G-Wagon. I honestly usually see Jen getting picked up. But anyway, she definitely says she didn't have the handbag yet. So she's about to finish her veneers. So I guess all she needs now is the handbag. So now back at the Gated Group, we see that some of the prospective buyers is starting to arrive to see the property. And one of the customers even was looking at Gina like, this is you in the pictures? I guess from the ad or whatever, from the company website. And Gina was like, yeah, you know, I may be a little airbrush, but that's me. And I'm like, girl, yeah, because you look frumpy right here. You look good in the picture, but he looking at you looking a frumpy hot mess. So he like, you sure this is you in the picture? So now Tamara arrives because she's going to be looking at the place too. Because mind you, this place is for people who are 55 and up. And Tamara meets that criteria, but Eddie doesn't. So she's saying how she could just move in there by herself. And Jen was like, she can't do it. Gina was like, she can't do it. She tried it. So they're showing Tamara around. They're showing her the place. And then Tamara gets to telling them how Jen wants to meet up with her. And Gina is saying, well, I don't understand how you guys got here in the first place. So now we go over back to Facial Health Parker. over there with Jen and Ryan, and she's telling Ryan, and she's asking Ryan how he felt about the party, and he said he was enjoying himself. He was chilling with Gretchen and Slay, having a good time. He said all he remembered is Tamara making her thirsty entrance or whatever. So now she says, yeah, you know I'm meeting up with her, right? So he was like, where? She was like, yeah, I told her at the party I wanted to meet up and talk. So he like, what's the point? What do you expect to get out of it? So she's like, I just want to find out where she coming from. I got some questions for her. I want the truth. And, I just want to try to see where her head is at. So he's like, I hope you get the results you're looking for. But, I feel like you're going to come home with nothing accomplished. And she was just like, you know what? At the end of the day, either she going to respect me or she not. But if she not, then I'm not going to fuck with her. And he just like, good luck with that. So now back over at the other place we was at now, the gated group where it was Regina and Tamara. Basically, she feels like she's held to a higher standard. She felt like Jen could say whatever she want and do whatever she want, but when she said something, it's like, oh my gosh, Tamara went there. And she said that she stopped. She came for them last year at Katie's house when Katie had a dinner or something and had everybody there. And that's when Tamara got into it with Ryan and all that. And that's when she was saying how after that, she thought they was cool, but then Ryan kept going online and all this coming for her. So, no. So, pretty much, we're going to see how this works out because they supposed to meet up and talk. So we're going to see what happens when they... Back at the dental place with Jen and Ryan, she's telling Ryan how Tamara basically is telling people how Jen wants to be her. And they show flashback of Tamara telling the girls, telling the girls that, like, she trying to be her and it's scary or whatever. So she was like, I nobody want to be her. Please don't flatter yourself. So she's like, and it's funny because Tamara asked me to send her a pic of my stomach for inspiration for her tummy tuck. So now you want to come for me? And she also says Tamara liked Ryan once upon a time. And now all of a sudden he's under investigation by the FBI and he's all of these things. Like, girl, bye. She got your card, Tamara. Okay? She got your card, girl. So the next thing we get is over at the judge residence, and we see Tamara. She's hanging out with her daughter Sophie, and they're hanging out in the room that Tamara does her podcast from. So Sophie is now a blonde. Hey Sophie, I like this blonde on you, girl. This look good. I like this blonde better than the black, Sophie. All right. And also, so Sophie, she's doing things, honey. She's in community college. She's going to graduate from there and she's going to transfer over to the Music Institute over in LA because, Sophie is on her artistic, she's in her artistic era. So she also does online entrepreneuring, like she sells clothes online. She's even actually selling Tamara's clothes for her. Yes, Sophie is doing some things, but Tamara said that she be going to Sophia for help, but Sophia bought her clothes from Goodwill, so she stopped short of that. She ain't getting her clothes from Goodwill. I'm like, Tamara's a mess. So Sophie she's piercing Tamara's ear as they talk. So basically, Sophia, they talk about her going out on her own and moving and stuff because she's going to be going to college and moving to LA and stuff. So Sophia, she's like making excuses like, I don't know if I'm ready to move because I don't want to pay all this rent. And then I got a cat. I'm not trying to pay all this money for groceries. So Tamara like, that sounds like you making excuses. So Tamara says in her confessional that there's like a codependency between her and Sophie. And she fears because she lost Sydney and Sydney left her and don't speak with her, she fears that if Sophie was to leave, she might decide not to come back and to stop speaking with her and she gonna lose her. So she has like PTSD from that. So, but it's time for her to go on and be who she gonna be. So then Tamara starts to catch her up on therapy and she lets her know that she's finding out a lot of what her parents divorcing affected her in a lot, and she's realizing how much now. But right now in therapy, they're up to Simon, who was her ex-husband that she came on the show married to before she got married to Eddie. And now they're talking about Sophie. So, yeah. And then they get back to talking about how they're going to sell her clothes on eBay. And she said in therapy that they was talking about Sydney. And now Sophie is telling her that for her age demographic, it's better to sell her clothes on eBay. And also, I want to make a correction because I feel like in the past, like in episode 2 and 3, I feel like in my last 2 recaps, I was saying Sophie is the one that doesn't speak to Tamara. I was saying that Gretchen had responded and commented on Sophie's post that was bashing Tamara, calling Tamara a deadbeat mom. It was actually her daughter Sydney that she doesn't speak with. So I think I said Sophie by mistake. I was mixing up the names. So if I did that, I'm sorry. It's Sydney that doesn't speak to her. It's Sydney that made the post about her being a deadbeat mom, saying she was physically abusive. That's why she don't stay with her. And saying she was emotionally abusive. And that's the post Gretchen commented on. So I believe I said Sophie, but I meant to say Sydney. Sophie is actually the daughter that does speak to Tamara, because Tamara got 2 daughters, Sophie and Sydney, and then she got 2 sons, Ryan, and what's the other son name? Spencer. Ryan is the one she had from a previous marriage. Or I don't even know if she was married. She had Ryan when she was young. Ryan is a grown redneck country boy, some racist redneck country boy that live out in probably Arkansas somewhere, Ohio. But yeah, and then she got a son, Spencer, as well, that he filmed with her. He hasn't filmed with her since she returned to the show, but he did film with her before she left when she was on the show. But then since she's been back, because Tamara's been back for what, 4 seasons now? I believe it was 4 seasons that she's been back. So yeah. Or no, she came back the same time as Jen, actually. Yeah, her and Jen. She came back with Jen. So it's been 3 seasons for Tamara, and we haven't seen Spencer in any of these 3 seasons, but we have seen Sophie last season and this season now. So pretty much that ends this scene. Next up, we get another parallel scene. So this one starts at this place called Open Aerial Yoga and Pilates. We see Emily, she's arriving there to do some aerial yoga. And right behind her, shortly behind her, Gretchen arrives. So they decide to get started without Miss Bador, because Shannon's going to be joining them. So they get started, and as they're getting started, Shannon comes, the wind blew Shannon through the door looking all frumpy. So Shannon comes in and joins them. They're working out. Shannon is having a hard time. They're making sexual references. They're just having a good old time. So the lady at one point tells them to move their body like a snake, maneuver like a snake. And Emily gonna say, oh, like Katie. Speaking of Katie, we go over to a place called Milligram Coffee Kitchen. So Katie arrives, she orders a roast tea and a cucumber salad. So now she's going outside to meet with Heather and Gina, who are already at the place, outside eating already. So she joins them, and they ask her about what happened outside when she left Heather's party with Tamara. And she tells them, she asked me what happened, and I was telling her. And Heather was like, oh, well, Tamara told us how Matt was yelling at her. And Katie was like, what? No, he wasn't. He was not yelling at her. He did not raise his voice. And they even played the flashback, and he didn't raise his voice. He was defending his wife, but he did not raise his voice. Okay? So Heather is talking about maybe you should tell Matt to, not to get involved. So back at Open Area, Emily is trying to play mediator between Gretchen and Tamara, trying to see if there's some way they could sit down and talk and, come to some type of resolution. And Gretchen is like, I don't know about that. Like, I didn't really come back around to be Tamra's friend. That's, I don't care to be her friend. So now Shannon is saying how she is over Katie. Like, she can't believe Katie really tried to justify herself, but she's glad she got it out so she can move on. And that's when Gretchen is like, speaking of that, last night, not last night, but when it happened that night, I was defending Katie, but I had a hard time sleeping that night because I didn't feel good about it or whatever, because I really like Katie. And Shannon is like, if she recorded me, then definitely she recorded other things. And Emily is like, yeah, who knows what else she got hidden up under her sleeves, what other bones she got collected. So now back over at the Milligram Coffee Kitchen, Katie is, Heather and Emily are asking, Heather and, who's Heather with at the thing? Gina. Heather and Gina are asking Katie if she met with this blogger named Kiki Monique. She's a YouTuber or blogger or whatever. And she's like, yeah, and they showed a picture of her. She's saying, I met her when we went to that event in somewhere. So they was like, oh yeah, I remember. So they're like, yeah, so I heard that you was trying to get her to come out with dirt on us and try to come for us. So she was like, no, who told you that? And Heather was like, Tamra. So Katie was like, no, come on, here we go again. So she like, no, that's not true. Tell her to prove it. I did not. She said I hung out with her, but we did not talk about y'all. So Katie is denying it. And Heather and Gina is basically like, girl, I don't know what to believe, because at this point, nothing really surprises me. So that ends this parallel scene, but before I go on to the next scene, for those of you who don't know the history between Gretchen and Tamra came on the show season 3. Gretchen came on, I think, season 5, either season 4 or 5. They bumped heads from the start because Gretchen, when she first came on, she was married to this elderly man who eventually died. But everyone was basically calling her a gold digger and judging her from the jump. Tamra was judging her before she even met her. As she was walking to the car, Tamra was shading her in the car. So they always had this ongoing beef. And there was this one season in particular where Tamra was trying to set Gretchen up. It was a dinner that someone was having. I don't know if it was Tamra hosting it or Vicky, but someone was hosting a dinner. And Tamra's son, Ryan, was there, her oldest son. And I remember Tamra was trying to set Gretchen up to get naked wasted. These are her words. She said she wanted her naked wasted in an attempt to see if Gretchen would sleep with Ryan, Tamra's son. So that was dirty to me. To me, that was a scandal, but I guess back then in 2010, that was before woke started and all that, and cancel culture and everything. But yeah, Tamra tried to do her dirty, so there was a lot of bad blood between them. Eventually, they tried to work it out and get past it, and they were cool for one season, but that didn't last long. All right? So that's just some background for some of you who don't know the history, because Real Housewives of Orange County is 19 seasons in, and I've seen every season from season 1. Not saying I started watching it from 2006 when it first started. I got into Housewives of Orange County around 2018. And I binge watched it. When I watched it, it was up to season 13. Season 13 is when Gina and Emily first came. But that season was on at the time when I was binge watching it. So I binge watched from season 1. And by the time I finished binge watching, I was caught up on time for season 14. Okay, so yeah, that's just some background information. I'm the one to come to for all things Real Housewives. And something about Jen, when I said something about Jen in a G-Wagon, she's not driving a G-Wagon. If she was, she's not anymore. Because I remember right now she's driving one of Ryan's old cars. Ryan gave her his old car and he bought a new car. Moving right along, next up we get a little montage. we see Shannon. She's preparing for a trip to the beach with Archie. I love me some Archie, okay? We see Emily. She's outside with the boys with Luke and Keller. Luke is walking their dog, Cindy, and Keller is on his bike riding a bike, and Luke is having a hard time. Cindy is dragging him every which way across the street. And then we also see Gretchen and Slade. They're with their little daughter Skylar, and they're in the kitchen and they're playing with her. And it's a cute little scene, but it's funny because when they show Slade, when they show who he is, they put it as Slade, Gretchen's life partner. That was so funny to me. I caught that. So the next thing we get is at the Janella residence, and we see Katie. She's with her husband Matt, and they're in their bedroom. It looks like it's bedtime, getting ready for bed. The son Vanden is there, and we see the dog Mochi is getting ready for bed as well, jumping in their bed to go to bed too. So she's telling him about what happened when she went to the Milligram Coffee Bar, how Gina basically would her out and is trying to give her a chance. But then she brought up the whole thing about Tamara telling them how she was trying to get Kiki, Monique to put out dirt on the girls. And Matt is just astounded, like, oh gosh. And Katie is like, yeah, show me proof, show me proof. So now she gets to talking about her daughter Kylie, because her daughter Kylie, she's coming back home soon, but she wants Katie to help her find her own place. And Katie is excited because for the first time in a long time, she's going to have all of her kids under one roof at the same time. But it's kind of like bittersweet because as soon as she does that now, Kylie is going to be looking for her own place. So it's like Kylie's coming home, but then she's leaving again. But, you know, she's still happy for this full circle moment. But she says she's talking to Matt about how she wants to make sure Kylie goes, because Kylie want to go to like schools that's in California, either LA, UCLA, or somewhere else, she said. And she's trying to keep Kylie close because she doesn't want to, you know, she doesn't want to let go. And Matt is telling her, you know, as a parent, your job is to raise your kid to be able to go out in this world and survive. And that is sound advice. Matt, I must say, I like Matt. I like you, Matt. You seem like a good man. Katie, you got a good one there. Something about Matt I like. He defends his wife, but not to a point where he's like getting involved in a female's business. But he not about to sit here and let y'all play in his wife's face. He don't play about his, and that's what I like. So yeah, they getting ready for bed. Vanden comes jumping to bed. Matt is like, hey, and they laughing. And it was a cute little scene. When I saw that scene, it really made me look at Matt like, I really like this guy. I like this guy. Your wife, maybe not so much. So the final scene of the episode takes place at a place called Rose Canyon Cantina and Grill. And this is the sit down between Tamara and Jen. Tamara arrives and she gets there first. So she's like, she don't know what Jen got to say to her, but she's hopeful that they can get past this because she's ready to move on. She orders soda water with lime and a splash of cranberry. So Jen arrives and she greets Tamara. Tamara is pretty much ready to get straight down to business, like, what you want to talk to me about? So Jen is like, hey, how you doing? Okay, hi. So Jen starts off by, like, trying to show grace for Teddy, like, you know, I understand what you're going through, and I'm really here for, you know, that you're there for Teddy, so I can understand that, and, you know, I sympathize with you. Then Jen ends up ordering a Diet Coke, and now she basically says to Tamara, like, I don't understand where we went wrong. Like, I have some questions and I'm hoping you give me the truth. Tamara is like, listen, I don't care what you want, pretty much being defensive already, like combative. So now Jen wants to know, like, what's going on? What's your problem with me? So Tamara feels like their relationship went south after the blow up last year at Katie's house. She said Ryan was coming for her online and all that. She feels like Jen put herself in it when she was actually coming for Ryan. Ryan was talking about Eddie broke and this and that. And basically, so they're going back and forth. And Jen brings up Tamara talking about the feds. And Tamara shutting her down like, you get to say what you want But when I say something, it's like a big ordeal. No. So Jen is like, are you okay? Like, so now they gets to going back and forth some more. Jen says how Tamra judges her, but says to Tamra, didn't you cheat? And Tamra was like, no, I didn't cheat. And Jen like, oh, so now you didn't cheat. So Tamra's like, no, I left Simon for Eddie. So Jen was like, you cheated or whatever. And Jen was like, yes, I left such and such for Ryan, but I ain't cheat or whatever. I think she admitted to cheating. She did say I cheated. And then Tamra gonna say, is that the first time or the second time? So Jen is like, what you mean? What are you trying to say? So Tamara on her confessional was saying how she heard it was like another dude Jen was messing with before Ryan, some dude that had a yoga studio. I'm like, oh gosh, here we go with you and he say, she say, getting word from the street again. So anyway, Jen is like, girl, I don't know what you talking about. And Tamara is like, being Tamara. So now, Jen is basically like trying to tell her, like, girl, you're not about to come at me crazy. And Tamara tells her, look, baby girl, I forgot, no, what happened was before all this started, I remember Jen was like, oh, if you want to do it like this, let's do it like this then. And I guess Tamara took it away and she was like, don't you dare talk condescending to me. I don't know what you think, who you think you are, but you're not. And Jen was like, what you mean? And Tamara was like, you not going to come at me like that. So they're going back and forth pretty much. So now Jen says to Tamara, oh yeah, so you think I want to be you too? You telling people I'm obsessed with you? And Tamara was like, yeah, I mean, you are. And Jen was like, how? So Tamara is like, I mean, getting my hair extensions, my old hair extensions put in your head, that is weird. And Jen was like, well, how do you know about that? Huh? What you mean? So it's true. So Tamara was like, you told me. And Jen was like, exactly.
We clipped Tamara's hair in my head just for a little bit. We were playing. I didn't leave with Tamara's hair in my head.
If I die in the middle of the night of stab wounds, it's her. She's gonna stand over my bed. It's gonna happen one day.
So Jen explains in her confessional that it was pretty much a joke. She was going to get her hair done by the same stylist as Tamara. And the stylist was telling her, oh wow, Tamara just left and she just got her hair done. These are her old extensions right here. So she said as a joke, she made the stylist clip them in her hair. She took a picture and sent it to Tamara, I guess. But then she said she took them out. She didn't leave there. She got her regular hair, done. It was a joke. She told Tamara about it, and Tamara is trying to twist it and make it seem like it was something more with it.
You go to my doctor and get your face redone. You go to my gym because you saw I did a fitness competition.
Your gym was 1 mile from my yoga studio. How dare you put yourself on that much of a pedestal and say I came looking for you?
You did.
You are so special. You are so sick.
No, I'm honest.
How's your therapy?
You came to my...
I didn't come to your gym. I didn't know about you. You are sick, and I'll say it again.
Don't call me...
You're sick.
You know what? I'm not putting up
I think you should.
So then Tamara's like, well, what about you going to see my old doctor, going to get your face done, getting my face to look like me, and going to my gym and all that? So Jen is like, what? Girl, what are you bugging? Jen is like, yep, your gym is a whole mile away from mine. And Tamara is like, girl, no, please, you was stalking me. Like, Jen was like, girl, please, nobody know about your gym. I ain't know shit about you. Like, you are sick. And Tamara's like, don't call me sick. Don't do that. And Jen was like I said, you're sick. And Tamara got up and walked off like, I'm sorry, I feel bad for you. And Jen was like, that's what you need to do. Walk off, bye. So now Tamara's leaving. And as she's leaving, Jen is playing with somebody's dog. Mind you, as they was arguing, the people in the restaurant was getting in. Mad people was looking like, the people in OC is nosy. Because every time it's a restaurant, the people be looking like, oh, they arguing. So yeah, Tamara leaves. Jen is still playing with the dog, and the dog actually starts biting her hair. So she's like, oh my gosh, you biting my hair? And then she's like, and it's not Tamara's hair either. And that's the way the episode ended. Guys, let me know what you thought about this episode. On a scale from 1 to 5, I'm going to give this episode a 3. It was a regular episode. It was good. Nothing spectacular happened, but I did enjoy it. It was entertaining. I'm enjoying the season so far, but they do need to pick it up, though. But I am enjoying it so far. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys checked out my recap for Real Housewives of Miami that I put up already. If you don't watch Miami, get in, girl. All right? I mean, it's 8 episodes in, but it's still not too late. Or at least just watch my reviews. So tell me, guys, what you thought about the episode. What do you give it on a scale from 1 to 5? I did see Watch What Happens Live, and Katie was on there. She was on there actually with Miss Kim Zolciak, all right? And it wasn't nothing exciting about Katie that happened. Her husband was in the audience, and Kim had her daughter, Ariel, in the audience. Ariana, that's on the show Next Gen NYC. So Andy asked, it was a hot topic, a question for Kim, asking her, how much of Brielle's and Ariana money did she spend? She said she spent it on bills and she paid them back for the most part. So she says, pretty much. They was getting in her tea, though. And also, she said she is dating someone. So I was like, let me find out, Kim. So yeah, that was the episode, guys. Do me a favor. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't hesitate to leave a comment. Bye.
I said what I said.